Going live. Good evening, everyone. Evening, Rob.
Evening. I can't see I can't see the chat. I haven't got it open yet. I'm gonna get the chat open.
You've literally just dropped in here, and I've gone. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. I can get it open.
Cool. While you do that, good evening, everyone. Welcome to. It feels weird me saying it. To be honest, it feels me. This is emotional. Welcome to Fantasy ChampMan Gameweek Season 3, Gameweek 1 preview. It feels like it's been a really long time coming, right? Since we were first talking about it to suddenly, Christ, it's on Thursday, Gameweek 1. Better start making it ready. But no, Rob, how are you, mate? I know you were a bit ill over Christmas. How are you feeling now, mate?
Yeah, got the Rona over Christmas. But yeah, feeling. I would say 100%, but yeah, I did all my Christmas drinking New Year's Eve, and now I'm probably a mixture of hungover and still recovering from coronavirus. But yeah, looking forward to getting going. So, as you said, it's been probably like a couple of months, hasn't it, that since we did the first like teaser announcement that season 3 was on its way, and then it just seemed like endless days of tweets with all the pre-season stuff and getting as much info out there as possible. And yeah, and then before we knew it, it was Christmas, and yeah, now it's what 3-4 days away
This is it.
from
I
game
think
week 1.
time-wise, it's fallen okay, hasn't it? Though I know it's felt like we say it's felt like a long time, but actually getting everything ready. Obviously, it's a smaller team of us this year, so just making sure we've all got ducks in a row. It's kind of the time's given us, and then obviously Christmas in between as well to, yeah, make sure
have everything prepared. And well, I'm ready to go. We have done a little test run, haven't we? Like a sample game week where we've checked that everything happens how it should do. So yeah, fingers crossed. There's no issues that cause us having to do it all again at some point on Thursday afternoon.
But this being ChampMan, who are we if we don't have technical issues for some reason during the game? So we'll be on 4 hours early on the game week, just making sure on Thursday, making sure we're ready. No, it's yeah, the test one went really well. Obviously, there's been a few changes to the game in terms of how we're going to the match day experience, if you like. So I think there might be some fair few, obviously, hopefully new to the game, who are watching us for the first time, are watching us back or joining us in the chat. Let us know if this is your first one. Gary Smith's in the chat. Welcome back, mate. We've missed you. We know it's ChampMan now. Who else we got? Just while I'm there, Andy Martin. He's complaining about FPL again. He does that a lot. Rory, welcome back, mate. Hope you're well. Pillows Beard, Pep Talk. Some good regulars.
Harpal Singh got COVID. No, thankfully, unless he tweets something in the sim and edited the database to start giving players mysterious viruses. Fingers crossed, no postponements at the last minute. We know that. I think from the sims and everything, I think it's that mid-November or late November in the sim where you get you tend to get that last minute as an international break for like everyone in the world apart from UEFA. And it's last year we had Charlton, I think it was, that had a load of players called up for like Jamaica and South Africa. So and that's the like latest postponement because we only find out like the week before. But other than that, I don't think we haven't had any waterlogged pitches or anything like that. But that's
or snow. We haven't had any snow yet either, have we?
Yeah, well, we've got some smaller stadiums in the game this year. We've got was it Valley Parade, Bradford, and Carrow Road? Yeah, have they got their undersoil heating all sorted and ready for the winter. We shall see. Oh, it needs that. Well, that's the training
That's
ground
a
needs
training
major
ground.
investment. Let's hope they've invested some of their. Because they're rich. Let's hope they've invested some of it in some pitch covers.
Norwich are all right. Carrow Road's fine.
Oh, they've got undersoil heating. There we go.
And then
Carrow Road is all ready. So
high,
it's Valley Parade. There we go. I'll call it now. Game week 22. Bradford to be called off in the last minute.
that's it. Factor that into your planning, everyone.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Awesome. So, shall we? I mean, for those new to the game, those who might play season 1 or even those who play season 2, obviously we had a few changes. For those who have managed to watch about 5 hours of the preview YouTube videos we watched so far, well done. But for those who haven't, should we just do a quick recap of some of the changes? I know there's been some questions around things like the captaincy, vice captain, emergency captain for those that haven't played Gaffer, obviously where we are now. So yeah, do you want to take us through some of the key changes, Rob?
Well, yeah, let's start with the captaincy and vice captaincy and emergency captain. So you pick your captain and you pick your vice captain, you pick an emergency captain. If your captain doesn't play, the emergency captain becomes the captain. It doesn't move your vice into the captain role and the emergency captain in the vice captain role, which I think for the whole of the first season of Gaffer, that's how I thought it worked. And I think a lot of people, maybe up until in the last few weeks, thought that's how it worked. But that is not how it works. So if your captain or your vice captain don't play, it gets filled by the emergency captain. If they both don't play, then your emergency captain becomes the captain, and you'll have no vice captain that week. That's the best way of explaining it. Does that explain it to you pretty okay-ish?
Yeah, it's basically so there's some nuances there, right? Which I suppose in real football, if you like, there is the likelihood of your 3 main picks not playing probably is a bit less, but this is ChampMan where anything can happen, right? So and we've got an algorithm which is about rotation in terms of rep 12, right? So I think one of the there's a couple of edge cases, I think, which is if your captain so if your captain and your emergency captain do not play, does your vice captain become your captain? The answer is no, isn't it? Your vice captain is static. Your
Yeah,
vice captain will never move. It will only be your emergency captain that will fill, as you say, either your captain or your vice captain
yeah.
role. Right?
So
Everyone
yeah,
clear?
the way I see it in this, your emergency captain, just make it a player that's playing away, because generally they will always you
I'm
generally
with you.
don't
Yep.
get much rep when the players are playing away. So like this week, a safe emergency captain would probably be Ruud, because he's almost definitely going to play away to Man City, or Henry could be a safe bet as well, like as an emergency captain, and then you'd fill out your captain and your vice captain with players that you think will play at home. And Leeds against Sunderland, maybe that's one that you wouldn't see much rotation. So yeah, make maybe Viduka your captain, and let's go Harry Kewell for the Kewell lovers out there as a vice captain,
There's 3 of them.
or Harpal Singh unless he's got COVID.
Thoughts and prayers, if
Yeah.
so.
Um,
Cool.
so yeah,
I think
that's how I'd see it. Yeah, have an away player as your emergency captain. If I was playing, then I think that's what I'd do.
yeah, someone pretty fairly nailed that that is going to be that fullback option, right?
Yeah,
Because you'll be picking your vice captain as somebody who you want to be scoring points, obviously, because for this season, one of the changes they get 1.5 points, right? So I guess where you've had game weeks in the past where Ruud would be 80% owned and more than that captain, potentially EO off the charts, you've now got another way to try and chase points through another captaincy choice. It's kind of like 1.5 points. So yes, Rob Reed, you're right. 1.5 points for your vice captain. So yeah, should be interesting. I think just adds that slightly different dynamic to it,
Yeah,
which
it
yeah.
could make it interesting. Yeah, towards the end of the season, with people chasing their mini leagues or whatever, and a lot of people will have it takes the pressure off having to maybe search for a differential captain, because you could maybe find that differential in your vice captain
Mhm.
and have slightly less risk with it. But yeah, it'll be interesting how it moves down. Hespo's just asked whether they're rounded up or down. They're rounded down, I believe. I think I had a vice captain in Gaffer a few weeks ago, and I saw that his points got rounded down and not up. So yeah, they get rounded down. So if your vice captain scores 3 points, that work out? Yeah, 3 points, then you get 5 point. No,
For
4 points
Mhm.
for them. Yeah, you don't get 5 points, because it would be 4.5.
Yeah, all clear.
So I think all clear.
We're gonna get. I think we'll get it a lot. It's the original ChampMan was obviously around the ChampMan FPL was around keeping it sort of similar and close to FPL, from chip perspective as well. So it's a move away from it for those who haven't played Gaffer before. It's a new one. So yeah, probably take a couple of weeks. I'm sure we'll get fielded the question. We'll field these questions a few times, but yeah, hopefully that clears that one up. And then obviously speaking of Gaffer, we've got a new home. So we're now on gaffer.io. So most of you in the chat, I'm sure you've signed up already. Pick your teams, but for those new to the game, those going to join, so head to gaffer, GAFFR.io. Sign up. I guess it's currently branded as the main sort of championship fantasy football game, which is what it was created from. But when you sign up, at the top there's a drop-down box where you can select either the championship game, the European Super League game they've got, or ChampMan Season 3. So that's where you will then have access to all the different squads that you can then pick your team from. And that's all you need to do. I've seen a few people ask about leagues. So you can have mini leagues in there, of course, create your own ones. But by default, you are added to the overall league. You don't need to do anything. So just sign up. It does help if you put your Twitter handle and things, or social handles in there as well. That's still in there, isn't it? I'm right in saying.
Yeah, yeah. If
Yeah.
you so at the top, you've got like one of those, like a little wheel in your top menus, which is your settings, and then in the settings you can you click on team details. You can give yourself a team name and put in all your social handles. I'm not sure if we can run a cup competition like we were able to before on the ChampMan site, but if we do run a cup competition, we generally make it only applicable to people that got their social handle um, in there, just because like for that the cup's there for that engagement, to sort of get you all excited and like give people something else to aim for over the season. But yeah, that's still, I haven't
Sort of
even
thing.
looked into how and whether we can do that this season on the new site, but at some point we'll have a look at it. There's plenty of time until we need to kick that
Start
off.
thinking about.
Yeah, I think last year it started it in Gameweek 16. So yeah,
Yeah, feels about right.
that'll be yeah, won't even think about it until probably around Gameweek 9 or 10.
Nice. Cool. Wonderful. Shall we run through some of these fixtures?
Yeah. Well, should
I'm
we
sure,
do
I'm sure there'll be things that
quick
pop up
run?
more actually.
We'll go do a quick run through of the teams just to give. I mean, there's we obviously went through the injuries of things that like you could see on the screen, but we'll just run through so you can see the condition of players, because that's something we didn't go through, to give you all a bit of something to panic about if there were any last minute changes to condition. Um, but yeah, Arsenal, I think all look okay. Ricketts isn't
Yeah,
even available, so yeah,
no,
they're all
that's
okay
fine.
at Arsenal.
For that.
Villa, yeah,
Pretty all fine,
no
aren't they?
low condition at Villa. Foster, is Foster in the game? I don't think Foster is at Blackburn.
No,
No, but
I'm
yeah,
pretty sure.
if he was, so for those that are new, if he was in the game, he'd be, the way that we flag them. I should explain this actually. So the way that we flag them on the site, if they're red injuries, so here you can see De Boer, Duff, and Betterton as red injuries. Stuff red, yeah. So there'd be a red on the site, and it will say INJ, and then it will have an estimated return game week next to it, and that's worked out by, say, if it's a few days, I normally give them sort of 3 to 4 days to return. So at the moment, if it's a few days, I think it's game week 3 return date, because game week 2 is the midweek after game week 1. If they're a orange injury on the site, then they will have there'll be orange on the site with DBT, so doubt, and it will have the percentage, their condition percentage, and an estimated game week that they'll be back to 100% or unflagged. And then if they're just low condition, they will appear on the site as yellow with just the condition percentage. Anyone under 90% gets flagged with it. What other flags are there on the site? Upcoming suspensions.
Hmm.
I think we make them blue. I'd like to think it's blue.
Yeah, so this is the older rule, right? So if somebody gets sent off, they don't miss the immediate next game.
It's
It's
2 weeks or 10 days, I think it is.
sounds about right.
Yeah, so if they get sent off, we'll flag them with upcoming suspension, with the game weeks that that suspension will be for. It's just so that if you haven't noticed on the stream or anything, when you go onto the site, you'll be able to see that, oh, should I be picking this player, bringing him in if he's suspended next week? So yeah, we flag that as well. And then obviously,
We'll generally call it out on the stream, won't we? But yeah, it's for those. Yeah, you can
yeah,
easily forget if you haven't
yeah,
watched it.
that all gets, we'll obviously go for it like this every week on the stream, and then on a Monday morning, it all, anything that gets updated on the website on the Sunday night will go out in tweets on a Monday morning with either it's INJ chat, hashtag INJ ChampMan for injuries and doubtful players, and hashtag SUS ChampMan for suspended players, and hashtag TRA ChampMan for transferred players if there's any transfers in or out, which there might be in the first few weeks of the season. Who knows?
Hopefully,
I know
this should be the busy point.
Lewis Figo might be wanting a move to Valley Parade. That's why they haven't. That's why they haven't improved on the undersoil heating. They're saving
Had
the
to
money
divert
for
the
Lewis
money.
Figo.
Makes sense.
He wasn't happy with Bayern Munich only making the semi-finals of the Champions League last year.
Who are we on? Bolton. Per Fransen's on 92. Everyone else is fine.
Yep.
Everyone at Valley Parade's happy. Excited for the season.
Yeah.
I think we flagged on one of the earlier streams. Yeah, Gronkiel's orange
20%.
flag, so it's at 20%. Everyone else is pretty fine.
And Kudacini is suspended, I think, as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he misses the first 2 game weeks.
One match.
Oh no, just one. So he'll be back in midweek.
Coventry all fine. A couple also. Duncan Ferguson, not only is he unhappy, he's on 92.
Wants a new contract.
Wants a new contract. Well, there's a lot. There's used to work hard in training. There's a lot of striking options at Everton now. Everyone else is fine.
Oh, that's one popular player that's at slightly low condition.
32% of the game. The Ginger Pele, Gary Doherty, 66%.
He's a major doubt, I'd say. I think everyone plays on the same day in the game, don't they? This week.
Yes, they do. Yeah, it's on this day, the Saturday the 16th. So yeah, there's no chance he's gonna recover in any way, shape, or form. So it doesn't mean he's unselectable though, right? But
Yeah.
given given their options, given the options that
Yeah.
Ipswich have at up top or centre back, it's likely they wouldn't risk him. And if they did, he'd be in a bit of trouble. Could very easily get
Yeah, 1
brought down
point
or
alert.
something. Yeah. So yeah, what is it? It's the fourth most owned defender in the game. Well, Gary, what's the? It's just low condition. Hasn't trained well. We know he had a few. He's been in a few friendlies. Maybe he took a knock.
Yeah, if people are putting stuff in the chat, we'll go. I'll keep an eye on it all, and then when we have quickly gone through all the teams, we'll just go back, and if anyone wants any people clicked on or any other information, we can quickly bash it all out in one go.
Yeah, Pirlo's beard must have fallen off his tractor. It's a danger. Danger's real. We've got Leeds. Everyone's pretty much fine.
It's just the two that we obviously went through on the screen.
Leicester, nobody particular. Yeah, Michael Owen was the headline of the last one. Orange flags. Might play. Don't know.
It's probably not worth risking for this week, because
Tell that for Julio.
if he does, he blatantly starts him and then he ends up with a red injury.
He's quite injury prone in the game, stats wise as well, isn't he? I think he was out really early in the first season as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, first season he didn't play much. Last season, I think he came back in like February, but then performed quite well in the last couple of months. Still managed to get 16 goals last season.
Yeah, 10 league goals in 24.
Yeah, so if he does, when he's fit, he is a good option. It's always a risk to get him in because he could get injured at any point. Gary Liddell. Oh, not Gary Liddell. Gareth Liddell.
He might like Gary.
Yeah.
McNamara's orange flag at 90. Everyone else is fine. Apart from Giggs at 90, everyone else is all right.
Scholes doesn't start.
No.
It'd be interesting to see how whether they do bring in Dunn.
Yeah.
I think it'll be mainly Chadwick. Seems to be.
Although Chadwick will be more on the win, won't he?
Yeah.
And the backs isn't there, so it'd be one of those centre. Well, it would be the one centre mid position. Yeah. Does he come in? Does Keane come back in? Borough. Pretty good. Oh, whoops.
Dimas, he's actually in the game. He's gone out on loan to Blythe Spartans. So yeah, he won't get removed from the game. He'll be flagged as unavailable. So if he comes back early, then obviously he gets unflagged. But I think he's due. I think he doesn't come back till the end of the season.
Yeah, 25th June. Yeah. For anyone interested, anyway. Norwich, all right.
That's interesting though, because we obviously did the pricing sims, and he played enough in the pricing sims
to actually get priced up. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there must have been in the two pricing sims the two appearance sims that we did. He must have had an average
He
of 5 appearances.
Well, he's 5 million. Done all
So
right. Done all
he
right. Then he's.
he must come back.
Wonder if he gets recalled.
Yeah, they must have a load of injuries, and he gets recalled at some point.
Yeah, because this is the one we sim from, wasn't it? So interesting.
Yeah, so he was started out on loan and ended up coming back and playing.
Fair enough. Anyone else? Sunderland.
Emerson Tome suspended. It's not new.
One match. Fairly clean bit of health at Tottenham.
Watford, it's just Petkov or Gary Walsh, 90%, but
only a few days. There you go. So condition-wise, so Doherty's really is the main one, isn't he?
Yeah, the main out of the high-owned. Right, I'm just going to quickly scroll down the chat, see what we had.
Had a couple of questions.
Jeffers, can you give Jeffers a click? Whilst I'm looking for where I saw FPL Goodman say, "Can you click on Jeffers?"
There you go.
Yeah, I think he last season, first season he was kind of played a bit part, didn't he? Bergkamp very much, and Carnu would start ahead of him, but now Carnu's gone. Bergkamp's old. I think Jeffers is pretty much nailed up top with Henry.
So kind of the AI doesn't forget the team, the strongest team or the playing squad from last season, right? But over every time for this new season, for example, yeah, there'll be a bit of a refresh in terms of whether it's reputation or trying to think what's the other stat ability. So yeah, it's been known, like you say. So Bergkamp he played quite a lot last season, didn't he? Well, he came on a lot. Still 11 starts. So it might be that he's preferred to Jeffers. It might be that he's completely out of the running, and then doesn't feature at all. So even Jeffers, even with Carney there, had 18 starts. So yeah, it really flipped between the three of them, didn't it? Alongside obviously Thierry.
Wenger doesn't know what he's doing anyway. Look at the goalkeeper situation.
Well, they got 6 on the ball. 6 now.
Westerveld, Wright, Manninger. Arguably at that time, all 3 of them would have been starting keepers for a Premier League team. But Holloway would get them in this sim. Holloway was getting the nod last season.
Yeah, poor Richard. No, Richard Wright started 16 games last season, but he was still quite highly priced, wasn't he? But yeah, unfortunately, that was up against Manninger and Holloway, whereas Sander coming in from Blackburn.
I think he is definitely the main man.
That's the one to go with. Yeah,
be interesting if Wright ends up going somewhere. He could head off back to Ipswich and fight out for a spot there. Right, who can we see the basic wage for Bradford? There we go.
This will test me.
If you go, that would do. £42,500 a week is the total wage bill. The total wage bill is 42.5k. Of the first team, the squad, 210k. Like, there's players today that own double that.
I'm talking about, yeah, Hoekstra, as you'd expect. Interesting. There you go. And yeah, obviously, you compare that to a United.
Yeah, Brian Newell. Is there any risk in Dunn taking Veron's place? No. I think Veron is as nailed as they come in that midfield at United. yeah, you'd think it would be like Giggs and Nedved. It's between those two on the left.
Mhm.
So Nedved, I'd say, is fairly nailed probably at the moment.
Mm,
But well, whilst Giggs is out,
Whilst Giggs is out, I think so.
but then
He can play. He can play in the middle as well, but not. It's yeah. But I mean, the thing is with Dunn, it's with any new player coming into a team, they get a bump to their reputation.
yeah, so he
So
could start the first couple of games, do really well, but then end up still
yeah.
uh, ending up on the bench off by game week
But,
3 or 4.
but I mean, Veron's reputation as it is sky high. So yeah,
Yeah. It's like one of the
I don't
best
think they're
players in the
replacing.
game, isn't he? So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Bartes, interestingly, is their third star man. It's a flip between. I'm sure it was Roy Keane last season.
um,
There you
which
go.
club is trying to buy Gary Walsh? It's Norwich, I think so he's at Norwich, is he? No, he's not at Norwich. Where was he?
Gary
Where
Walsh.
was Gary Walsh?
Watford. He's trying
Watford.
to buy
There
him.
we go.
Oh,
Brighton.
who we're controlling?
It's the AI, isn't it? When simple goal FPL, he spends half his time on holiday,
This is
but has managed to keep hold of his job at Brighton for 3 years.
It's an interesting tidbit because we looked on the job information. It seemed like Watford were okay. Thinks the board would be wrong to dismiss Viali.
So he's not. If we look in the is it job news, job information,
Yeah, he's not there. Peter Shreve's in trouble.
Chris Kamara, Notts County,
Slightly insecure.
or Jeff.
But yeah, so yeah, something to read into that. Maybe Watford needed a strong start to the season.
I saw someone saying, "Oh, going through the first 4 game weeks. Can you briefly go over the first 4 weeks of the season?" So let's have a look at the fixtures for the first 4 weeks.
Yeah, so it's Gameweek 1.
I'll quickly bring up my FDRs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's a good shout to run through, and so essentially we've got Gameweek 1, so it's on that's today where we're at. So we hit the button and it will sim it. There's a couple of teams, Sunderland and Liverpool, are playing 3 days later. So condition certainly comes into it. Obviously, game week 2 is a blank game week. So the following day, you've got the 14 remaining teams.
So yeah, Chelsea, Everton, Leeds, and Middlesbrough are all blank due to the European Cup because they're playing in their fourth qualifying round, second leg.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they'll all double in game week 5. So it's something to think about. I know that there's a few chip strategies floating about. I think the general one I've seen is a lot of people wildcarding game week 5.
Seems
So
to be popular.
wildcard Chelsea assets in, Leeds assets in.
Take advantage of that double, because then I think fixtures wise as well, they're relatively
Generally, we
kind.
don't have a double until it gets caused by that international in November. If there's enough players called up for certain teams, not sure who would be most affected from like South American or African teams
Have a look at the
doubling.
list maybe last year, last season.
Last year
Yeah.
it was all Derby, and it was Derby players in season 1. It was Charlton players in season 2. I
You might
had
be right.
to have a look who there is that could potentially be getting called up, but then that ends up being a double, very much like the double game week in FPL this week, where they play one game and then they have their FA Cup fixtures and then they play a second game. But we obviously will do it one day after the other.
Yeah, won't be waiting. Not going to be 11-day waits in between for one game week. So yeah, that's a combination of those. So the 19th and 20th of August, that's game week 2. Game week 3 got 7 fixtures on the Saturday, 2 on the Sunday, 1 on the Monday. So again, condition wise, like sort of United, for example, play Wednesday, but then don't play till Monday.
That's also something that I think season 1 it happened, but it didn't happen last season. When TV fixtures come out through September,
Mm-hmm.
if there's any of the European Cup teams set to play Monday Night Football, and then they get their Champions League games on the Tuesday, then their Monday game gets postponed. But I don't think we had that last year. I think we had it in season 1. I think Man United and Leeds, I think, were due to play on Monday Night Football in season 1, and it got called off.
There was one. Yeah, there was one that got called off like 2 days before, wasn't it?
Yeah, and
You didn't have a week's notice.
no, because they announced they announced the TV fixture, so we knew it could be a possibility. But then the draw gets made for the Champions League group stages, and then it wipes out. It does, and there's a possibility of it happening the same with the second round of group stages in November, because back then they had 2 lots of group stages for the European Cup.
Nice. Pete Carter saying Aussies at Leeds can cause a blank.
Yep, they're one. Although it's the rep of the competitions that they play in, they never get called up. They only get called up for like the World Cup qualifiers, but like the Oceania Cup, I think it is. So yeah, if you the friendlies. So if you go into like that friendly against South Africa, you'd see that none of the you haven't got Kiel, Viduka, none of them get called up.
No, might have been Federations Cup. No, even for that.
Yeah, because it's just the reputation of the competition is just not
Well,
high
France don't care.
France go and pull in all the boys. Stan Lazarini got a call up. Danny Invincible, what a name that is.
Swindon Town.
John Carboni, Benito's Australian cousin.
Trophy's a trophy, isn't it? France not messing about.
Trophy's a trophy. Well, this time France are probably one of the sort of top national teams in the game, aren't they? So
yeah. Cool. So that's game week 3. Game week 4. It's played over Saturday, Sunday, Monday again, and then game week 5. So this is the double. So you've got all 10 fixtures on the Saturday, and then the extra fixtures playing on that Wednesday.
They probably just haven't been. The TV fixtures probably haven't been announced yet.
Oh, so there'll be some that will play on the Sunday.
It's a month away, isn't it? So yeah, they'll get some of those will get moved around. But yeah, then you've got the double fixtures in the midweek.
Cool. So we've got
Billy Hadaway. It might be wrong, but thought I noticed Molinar from Bradford wasn't priced up. If he's not on, but essentially, if you'll see, obviously the squads are generally sort of 20 to 30 players. We've priced up every single player, but there's only about 15 from each team that we've made available to be picked. They become available once they've started a game. We'll never make them available unless they start. Which I think there was one point last year where there was 2 keepers from a club injured, and everyone knew that the third choice keeper was gonna be playing, but to keep it in line with how we've always done it, that third keeper wasn't available. Then we priced him up, put him in, and then the following week he didn't play anyway.
It's just the squads, isn't it? The squads are so big,
Yeah,
and just so imagine if you had all of these Bradford assets to select, you
yeah,
wouldn't know where to start almost. So yeah, I'm trying to obviously narrow it down, like you say. So
yeah. So through the way that players are priced and the fact that they're available, you can generally see what lineups we like. If you do enough looking into the pricing, I know that Martin and Craig from Man On, and some of the other guys that have been starting to put out content in the last week or so, they've really looked into how the players are priced, because it can for some of the clubs it shows pretty much what we think the lineups will be.
mhm.
Um, there's a few that we've obviously chucked in to just give you
No,
give you all a question to ask.
no,
Um,
it's all straight,
and
all straight line.
Transferred players. When a player gets transferred, we'll do some simming to obviously work out a price for them and whether it's worth actually putting them in the game. Yeah, generally, if we announce the transfer, they'll enter into the game and there'll be a proper tweet for it. If we don't really announce the transfer, then it's a player that we don't think will play. Although they'll get priced up, they'll just sit in the background on the site unavailable.
Yeah, yeah. Gary Smith, any new transfers? Everyone who's transferred so far has already been announced and up on the site. So yeah, nothing in between the two, in between the streams. This is
Yeah.
the
I
sim's at
did.
the same point as it was.
Yeah, we went. I think I did some tweets. Yeah, back in end of November, beginning of December, like some filler tweets or middle of December.
It's all
With
quality,
I
Rob. It's never filler. It's never
filler.
filler. It's all
Cool.
important for the
It
narrative.
was yeah, it was there. There was a few players that are wanted by clubs. Yeah, and there's like I've got three that I didn't announce. It was Olivia Bernard at Newcastle. He's wanted by Cardiff. Lee Fowler from West Brom is wanted by Coventry, and Matt Lawrence from Stockport is wanted by Norwich. So there's three that weren't announced because I just didn't think they were worth announcing. To be fair, yeah, if you go into the player search, no,
Sorry.
go into the manager one. So up,
Oh,
no,
sorry. Ah,
go fantasy ChampMan on the left side, then player and staff search.
yeah.
Go into the filters quickly because it's all filter attributes. So there's a couple of filters that are on. Just switch those off. And then if you sort by info, and then I think it's like page 8.
Mm,
So if you scroll through and then you get to the wanted players.
okay.
There we go.
Fine. So this is what you're doing to kind of look through.
Yeah, so I click on every single player, and we'll always, if there's a player that's wanted by a Premier League club or plays for a Premier League club, generally, as long as they're in the game, we'll stick out a tweet with some storyline behind it. Keep it interesting. Yeah, there's Luis
Mm,
Figo. He is actually wanted by Real Madrid. He's not
Mark
wanted
Kerr.
by it.
Have you seen who Mark Kerr's wanted by? Do we know that?
Um, I think it's another Scottish team. Just click on his one that bit.
Apart from Brighton.
He's been scouted. I think Luke might have
Yeah, we
put
just
him
did
as
it for
yeah,
some of the
just
top players.
to
Yeah.
keep an eye on him.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, so Luis Figo isn't coming to the Premier League. He's probably going back to Real Madrid. But we do know that these transfer sagas seem to go on a bit. Who was it last season? Rui Costa.
Rui Costa.
It seemed to be like the whole season that Arsenal wanted him, and he never came in the end.
No,
but we
it just
didn't get.
broke
We got
down. Negotiations broke down.
Nedved went wanted, and then the week after he signed for United. So
It can just happen.
That happened quite quickly. Nedved did.
Mad. Cool. Okay. And there's a few more questions coming through. Shall we run through? We got our teams to bring up and some. Yeah. Should we throw through some predictions?
Yeah,
I know you've mentioned a couple of interesting ones already. We can debate.
I've done an out there one on Peter Crouch to outscore Ruud this week.
So we'll come
Blackburn home to Arsenal.
So we'll come to that in a second. So you've got Villa, Leicester, Villa at home. A couple of debuts due. Keep an eye out for Uriah as well.
Oh yeah, although it changes.
Yeah. Just for the narrative, Rob. Come
on. But he suddenly. What did we do last year when he
was one referee who played about 3 games in the same weekend, didn't he?
No, it was. What did it? It was like. I think it was the week that I was doing the comms, and we'd done Uriah watch, and then I noticed that he suddenly appeared at. I think it was at Charlton versus someone, and we did it like.
Oh, might have lost Rob.
I'm still here.
Oh, yeah, I've got you. You completely froze.
Yeah, we had Uriah Rennie, getting in a helicopter and appearing, and I think there was 3 red cards in that game or something insane, which is I think why I did the whole craziness to him being there.
So Andy Martin and Taylor were chatting about Europe interfering with double game week 5 potentially.
Okay. I had to actually. I'd start because I wasn't sure whether Taylor was going to do the calendar, so I started. I compiled, went through a few sims, and compiled all of the possible blank game weeks, double game weeks, and everything. And then Taylor said, "Has anyone got any information that I can create the calendar?" I just went, "There you go. That saves me a job. I've done a couple of hours work for you. There you go."
Nice.
So yeah,
cool.
Taylor will have that's that calendar is brilliant for seeing potential blanks and doubles throughout the season.
Cool. So Taylor's saying Champions League does clash with double game week 5. Like Liverpool last season, if Chelsea or Borough lose their qualifier, then only they double in game week 5. UEFA Cup's in game weeks 4 and 6, so there's no clashes. Taylor will have a calendar spreadsheet out by tomorrow. Nice one, Taylor. Thank you, mate. That will that should help clear a few things up. But yeah, there's going to be nuances around this, especially with so many teams in Europe early on. So no, good shout, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, in the Champions League, you've got Middlesbrough, Man United, Leeds, and Chelsea and Arsenal. Is there 4?
I haven't done the draws yet, have they? For the...
No, Chelsea and Middlesbrough are there. Man United and Leeds.
Yeah, that's 4.
And then in the UEFA Cup, you've got Liverpool and someone else, plus Blackburn could get in there through the.
He's qualifying.
Through the Intertoto Cup. I think they've still got their final second leg to play.
No one's in qualifying. No.
Yeah, they're already
ready through.
Somewhere. If you go into seedings, if you go back into the UEFA Cup, I think if you go into seedings, there you go. It gives you Arsenal, Liverpool,
Villa,
and then Chelsea and Blackburn could both. Blackburn could help follow those 3 in. God, I didn't
Cool.
realise Villa snuck their way into the UEFA
What did they
Cup.
finish last season? Let's have a look. Big Dion. His goals counted.
Yeah.
Counted for something bigger. I mean, yeah. Speaking of Villa Leicester, what are your thoughts?
I think Villa. I think a Villa asset or two is probably worth a punt for game week 1.
There's a couple of juicy price defenders, isn't there? So we know Danny Mills. Yeah, it's Danny Mills that's down at 4, isn't he? But there's a few options they could play there, which is why some of the pricing is quite well. Some of the players, I guess, are quite spread. So there's quite a few options they could have. But Richard Rufus coming in.
I think I have 2 Villa players in my zombie.
Do you?
I think I do.
Check it out in a minute. Cool. Villa finished 8th last season. So yeah.
The League Cup? Did they make the final of the League Cup?
We should know this, shouldn't we? Made the FA Cup final.
Oh, that's probably why they've qualified as the runners-up of the FA Cup, because Man United already made the Champions League. Maybe.
Got it. Let's go with that. Cool. Yeah, I think you got Leicester. Leicester are one of those teams that they've not done particularly much. Nothing. But last player they bought in was nearly 2 years ago. They've not done anything really to improve their squad. Yeah, I think it's an easy Villa win for me. I'll say 2-0.
Yeah, I'd probably say 2, maybe more. Depends what Villa turn up. Whether Dion's got his shooting boots on.
Yeah, fair enough. Blackburn, Arsenal.
Or Juan Pablo off his heroics in the Copa America.
Yes, must be on a high.
Yeah. Blackburn, I'm going to go for a Blackburn win at home.
Okay. And you think the new man's going to do bits?
Yeah. We know that he could either be brilliant or rubbish. So I'm going to gamble on him being brilliant. And yeah, he outscores everyone else this week. I'll bank on him being in the team of the week this week.
I think it'd be tight. I think I'll go for a draw. I'll go 1-1 for a score draw.
It's just that Arsenal weren't great. They just haven't been great, have they, in the sim altogether? But they've tended to start the season badly and then sort of build into the season. So I'm going to bank on them not starting well yet again.
It depends on formation Blackburn play as well.
Yeah,
Soonest has got a few up the 7-2-1. He won't play that at home though, will he? It'll be that'll be more the away.
Corrado Grabby in season 1.
Grabby. Yes, he had about 7 assists in 2 weeks, didn't he?
He was like a 5 million forward, and I think at some point he would have been owned by more.
No,
he would have been owned by over 50% of the game because he was just returning every week, and then he just stopped playing. Just fell out of favour.
Fuck it off.
No, he left. End of season 1.
Yeah. Just on a free. He's at West Ham now. Interesting.
Oh.
Didn't feature.
Played 6 times last season. He's got a goal every 2 games.
It's just a cheat code. Ready to come back when West Ham are ready. Cool. Coventry, Watford.
Probably going to go with Watford. Just slightly better team.
Yeah.
Very slightly. It's like borderline.
Yeah, I think the man on guys had Watford strikers doing well in this one.
Helgeson and Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. that Coventry team are pretty poor. Watford aren't much better, but they're good
Lee
enough.
Hughes is a good player, though, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
I was considering for a while.
but other than him, I mean,
Paul Telfer
Paul Telfer. It's not great though, is he?
can jump.
He can jump.
Yeah, so you got fancy Watford for that one, I think.
Yeah.
Ipswich Bolton.
Back the home side, I think, with that one. I think if it was that's one fixture. If Bolton were at home, you'd probably back Bolton. But yeah, I think you'd back Ipswich. Maybe for a clean sheet as well.
Yeah, although if so it's wing backs against wing backs, isn't it? So usually, if you've got a team that have got a couple on the wings over a team that are playing 5 at the back with 2 wing backs, then it's going to be an overload. But Gardner might have a bit of luck on that Ipswich side. But yeah, like you say, I think it's tight. So about the home too. Leeds Sunderland. Sunderland are a pretty poor away team.
Yeah, and Leeds are they came within a hair's breadth of winning the title last year. They're probably going to go close again this year. You've got to back them, and I mean the forward line is scary how good it is, and that's without Smudger playing. So yeah, I think you got to back Larson, Viduka, Kill. Like
Robbie Keane. Is that
Robbie
midfield?
Keane.
He's that midfield option now in the team. Sorry, in the game, isn't he?
Yeah, if you want, I know that
that's a triple up.
the problem is it's because of their blank, isn't it? So they blank?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's because of the blank. I think a lot of people are wary of that before diving into them. But I can imagine Larson and Viduka being quite highly owned when we get to Thursday evening.
Yeah.
I think that in one of those two, you've got a really good captain option. I think this week.
Yeah. Sunderland, even so, especially with Tome out, he's generally the linchpin of the team. So yeah, I'll end up talking about Larson, McCartney, maybe. Yeah, it's could be nice for Leeds.
Yeah, the only thing is with Sunderland is like they have got Phillips, so I wouldn't be banking on a Leeds clean sheet. Like he's the sort of player that could get he needs one opportunity and he can pick up a goal, but I wouldn't put him in my team this week. I think there's plenty of other players around his price.
It makes me sad. It does make me sad that I'm not going to have Kevin Phillips in my team this year.
I haven't got him either.
No. Only from other options, isn't it?
Last year I picked him up for. Was it consecutive hat tricks, or was it 2 out of 3 weeks he scored hat tricks? But yeah, I captained him for both of them last year.
You felt at home. He was super. But he'd often come away as well, wouldn't he? That's what I think. Like you say, you can't really count him out because
I think he's like, home games against anyone but Leeds, Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal. Then he's a captain option. Even against any of those, you could stick the captaincy on him as a gamble. But yeah, I think any other home game is a top option for captaincy.
Just on Sunderland, so you saw George Jorge Letal. Go with that. Join the club, but behind, well, you've got Lieber and you've got Sibon as well. Did we even price him up? I don't think we priced him up, did we?
No, he's sitting in the background somewhere. So yeah, he'd probably be, if he came in, he wouldn't be expensive. But we would probably need 2 or 3 forwards to be injured before he gets a shot. I think Libra is first choice. Well, it's Phillips, then Libra, then Sibon. Then you got like Bellion as well, who's there or thereabouts.
He's developing, isn't he?
Hmm.
Options. Liverpool, Norwich. Yeah.
I'm going to go. I think, Liverpool clean sheet, definitely. I'm just not sure where their goals are coming from, other than Sammy Hoopier from the penalty spot.
From the penalty spot. I mean, yeah, you got Heskey and
Heskey and
Fowler, but
Fowler, it's not like the greatest top two, like two up front. I mean, Fowler's he hasn't performed, has he?
yeah, I mean, he played. I'd say
13
six
and
goals in
43.
six goals in 25 starts for a striker at the club
It's
like
not
Liverpool.
great.
It's not what you want. I mean, Heskey's probably he played less games, but yeah, it just depends what he does with Michael, and then you've got
I
Letton
think
in the background as well.
I think the best value in that Liverpool side is with the defence, and obviously Sammy Hoopier. We think he's probably still on pens. I think it's a no-brainer for him this week. Maybe even an outside captaincy shout, or at least a vice captaincy shout. Could be worth it.
No one that's going to threaten them.
Yeah,
I mean, Kevin Nolan's come in as a star player.
Yeah,
which probably tells you something.
I think he's a bargain in how we priced him up for
4.5
million. If you want someone basically to sit there as your third bench and come on every week if you need him, then I think he's perfect.
You could do a lot worse. He did well. Yeah, he played a lot, didn't he? He was a season 1 option. I remember a budget midfielder as well.
I think he was a 5 or 5.5 in season 1 at Bolton.
I think I started Gameweek 1 with him on the old sheets. Yeah, but yeah, otherwise.
Zima Abbey. Not sure.
Marchant maybe. He dips between right wing and forwards.
Were you going to embellish the commentary when Norwich are 4-0 down at half time and you can say Delia Smith's come out onto the pitch? And...
Was it this year? I have to find the date.
Might have been around that season.
I'll
can't remember when Norwich
might have been a little bit later. Let's not spoil it. It might be, it might not.
It might happen, it might not.
We can do something.
So I think a Liverpool win to 0, but I can't see it being a goal fest or
anything. City, Manchester derby early on. City at home to United.
This is one game. I'm just not sure. I don't think United are gonna. I don't think they'll blow them away.
No,
this City team are like they were the strongest team that came up last season. And
never in any never any real danger.
No, and they've only got stronger as well. Like the Hurtado signing was a really good signing for them at the back. It kind of just shored them up at the back. Teato was maybe a bit disappointing. We thought he was going to have a big season. There was him and Petkov, and we weren't sure which would be the one that had the big season. And Petkov arguably was, especially at the start of the season, was brilliant, and he was crying every week. It's
I've got to redo the GIF. I've got to redo a GIF. But yeah, their forward options is the tricky one because I'm looking back at the stats last year. Man City they only scored 47 goals. To take into perspective, Millwall and Charlton both scored 46. So it was the fact that they only conceded 61 compared to 90 from Millwall and Charlton. So yeah, not a relegation form goal scorers, but they could the back line could do enough to keep them in games. So yeah, I think when we're speaking to Craig and Andy, they think that they'll be much more improved this year. So yeah, I'm with you. I think Tiato is always a good option. I started last year with Huckabee, just so miserable owning him when One Shot was doing so well. But it could easily go the other way at any point. But One Shot is the better option. But yeah, and then for United, I still think United will win. United will still win that. I just think it will be quite a low ceiling. One,
Yeah,
2-0, or City to score probably 2-1, 2-1
I
United.
think it's quite, for those that are going without Ruud to start off the season. I think it's a nice fixture to kind of just go, right, let's see whether he's still like, is he still value for money at the price that he is? I mean, obviously next week, game week 2, they Coventry at home, which is like, it's one of those where if he plays, because rep could come into it, especially it being midweek straight after, it could be pain for those that don't own him if he starts. But it,
Yeah.
yeah, that'll be interesting next week. Whether we avoid that for the leak, won't
Still
avoid
got to.
giving any
We got
United
to.
information.
Yeah, we need to keep the information to the leaks. You know, need to tighten up the system.
Yeah, no. So yeah, you're not getting Rude as part of a league at any point this season.
In fairness, he played every game last year, didn't he?
I mean, I think
So,
with something like that, it does instantly. It would it'd be really harsh on those that have taken the plunge on and spent that amount of money on him. So I think it would be a take it as it, see what happens over the course of the season. I think he's obviously going to be nailed for this week, but
yeah, but I mean
I'm
Coventry.
not
So
sure.
we had a question sent to me earlier just around the average goals scored. So from when we did all the pricing sims, the average goals scored, average goals conceded. So I know you converted them into like the FDR essentially, didn't you?
Yeah.
So Coventry, were they bottom? Or was it Norwich? They were the bottom two, weren't they?
Yeah. So I mean, get it up.
So yeah, essentially the FDR, we can always retweet it for anyone who hasn't seen
Yeah.
it. But yeah, that's where we've sort of converted all of those numbers in before. So you can kind of take that as a, you know, even take. I know it would potentially change season on season, but yeah, the bottom teams, for example, last year, like if they conceded 90 goals, scored 45, 46 goals, whereas the
I'll
teams at the
just
top scored 80.
put the link to the FDR, so my FDR sheet
Nice.
in the chat there. So yeah, these are like I call them expanded FDRs, so that it's a lot more accurate. So they're rated 1 to 80, like a triple game week, with like the perfect free fixtures would be a high 70s fixture difficulty rating. So that's why, like this week, you can see Liverpool have got the best fixture by a long way, home to Norwich with a 23. But yeah, next week you've got United at home to Coventry, which is a 24 fixture. But yeah, these FDRs they get, so they appear as 1 to 80 on my sheet, but then it gets converted down into a 1 to 5 rating for the website. So yeah, this feeds into the website. So the FDRs on the fixture page on the website will always be reflective of what goes on here. And at the moment, yeah, it's taken from the data from our sims. And after 4 or 5 game weeks, I then switch it into this sims data, where it uses the goals scored, goals conceded, home and away, and then shots on target plays a part, because then we can see if a team's having lots of shots at target, then that makes them a stronger team, etc. So it was in my FPL one, I use XG, and we obviously don't have XG as a stat in Championship Manager. So yeah, I thought shots on target is probably the closest thing to that. So it kind of gives an accurate feeling of how well we think the teams are gonna do.
It's a hell of a spreadsheet, Rob. Like, I know this is certainly your bread and butter now, obviously from the FPL Big Mini League and things you run. But yeah, for anybody who hasn't seen this, bookmark it, save it down, star it, do what you need to in Google Sheets. So yeah, Rob will update this each week, as you said, and yeah, it's just a good proper source of info.
Yeah, in my pinned tweet on Twitter, there's a folder which has this Gaffer. It had Elite Syrian in it when that was going on. Yeah, there's a few like fixture ticker sheets in there, and this is also all available on my planner that a few people have already got hold of, which also has a load of other stats that I've stuck in for this season. So yeah, absolutely everything that you see on the like stats page at the end of a game, that will be fed into the planners as well. So there's loads of info there. Again, there's a pinned tweet somewhere with how to get hold of one of them.
Yeah, worth checking out the transfer planner. I used it all the time last year, and the FPL, it really helps.
Yeah, it's quite handy.
Let's plug this, Rob. You've got a chance here.
Yeah, I mean, I think with this, it's quite handy. Yeah, when you've got all of that info there with the stats, and then for the double game weeks and stuff, I think I think you can get away with not doing as much planning. And like last season, I sort of made 2 or 3 moves every week just to target fixtures. So I had like a base of a team, and then have 2 or 3 players, like generally your premium players, that you just swap out each week because you want to target captaincy. So I don't think so much planning needs to go into it, but we do get as we get into sort of the FA Cup and everything, like in normal FPL, you might want to just plan around the a chip strategy as such, and like people have already started planning around chip strategy for game week 5. It's definitely handy for that in there. And yeah, I think I'll be running a planner team, which uses the projections and stuff, which is good, bit of fun. I think last season, it had 1 week where it got like a game week rank of 6. The projections.
Skynet team.
Yeah, it all went right in that week in it. But yeah, it's like it makes 1 transfer a week every week, and it will triple captain someone if they have a projected score of over 10 for a week. So.
Scary stuff, Rob. Still in them. You got to keep a lid on it. Keep a lid on it. This is how it begins.
We need a computer to win fantasy football. So yeah, it's a work in progress. Anyway, back to the fixtures.
Yeah, no. Let's rattle through this because we've got our teams to do, and we need to run the sim tonight as well. So let's crash through. I mean, Borough, Bradford, the next one. I think the sim data shows that Bradford again being a team that are expected to struggle this year. Having one of the Borough striking options. I mean, even midfield.
Rickard, I think's the one.
Rickard and Botic, aren't they?
Yeah, I think I think Botic has really underperformed in this sim. Whilst Rickard has been quite a solid pick throughout. So yeah, I'm edging towards Rickard, and then you've got like Zapata as well that was great at times last season. Probably, arguably the best signing of the season, Zapata last year.
Yeah, 14 goals and 9 assists, 23 attacking returns in 36 games for a right winger. Not bad. But you still got the likes of Green and
Marinelli came through, didn't he? Miller.
I really like Charlie Miller. And then obviously you got Honcho that's come in from Liverpool this year. So as a as an outfit, Borough have definitely strengthened. Yeah, so that could be a big number. Newcastle, Everton.
I think I'll go with the Newcastle. And I think it's similar to the Ipswich Bolton game. It's like one of those could go. You're going to just go in favour of the home team.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously Newcastle have got Alan Shearer up top. Potentially could be a captaincy option this week if you fancy him.
Yeah. I think Stephen Hughes had one good game week last season, then sort of disappeared for the first half of the season before picking up in the second half. But yeah, he can do all sorts, and Dyer is one of the best in his position.
Yeah, as long as he stays fit, he's a great option.
Although Everton have strengthened really well this year. Brought in Malcolm Christie, obviously, from Derby. Who he's going to replace is going to be Campbell or Keratos. Good question. Titov has come in, and Paz as well, Pablo Paz. Wherever he is.
He's up there.
There he is. So yeah, I think there might be a bit of Everton were just a bit of a nothing team really last year, weren't they? They had a few options, so GX would
Kevin Campbell would pop
mix
up
around.
every now and again. GX did quite well.
Yeah, but yeah, I think they've done well. I think they've strengthened well. I think they could be.
Unsworth had
Was that last season he had his hat trick? It was, wasn't it?
Was it 1 goal and 2 penalties?
I think it was 3 penalties.
Normal, or was it 3 were penalties?
I think it was all 3 penalties. I'll have to have a look back. Cool. Last one. Let's do Tottenham Chelsea. Yeah, I think the Sims had this as quite a quiet one. But you're lagging a little bit. Can you still hear us?
Yep. I think it's a good one with Chelsea blanking game week 2. It's another one that is quite handy having that fixture as their game week 1 fixture. You know that you don't need to start with the likes of Melchiot, Terry, or any of the back four. You can kind of sit and wait, and then game week 3 they have Liverpool. And then game week 4 or game week 5 is when you could bring someone in.
Is that run there's a little tidier, isn't it?
Yeah, that Villa. Double. So the Villa Leeds double game week. Then they got City, they got Middlesbrough at home, Coventry at home, Everton. Like it's fixtures where they're going to pick up clean sheets, and we know that with the Chelsea defenders, if they don't pick up the clean sheets, they tend to get a bit of bonus at least, especially at home.
Lovely stuff. So that's your game week 1. Shall we chat through our dead teams? So yeah, from the core team, myself, Rob, and Whitebeard. So we've all got access to the sim. We're all going to be, well, you and I got access to the sim. Whitebeard's is our new Lordy Leroy. So updating and basically making sure everything pushes into the website and sort of passes all of the work, all of the texts that we send them from the sim, from the screenshots, and puts it on the site. So because of that, we're not going to be playing the game. So I'll bow out with my 26 rank from last season. just going to put
I think
that
I
there.
just about made it into the top 100 last year. It was a slog.
It was tough. I think I got it from, I had 2 good game weeks. I had a game week rank of 1 and 6, and yeah, I went from about 300 to 50th, and then just managed to hang on around there. So that was good. So let's bring up. Usually when you're way more of a pro at the streams, so you'll have slides set up, you'll have transitions going. So if I just sort of just pretend. So this is Whitebeard's team.
I haven't actually seen his team. I can see it. Yep. I haven't seen it yet.
Cool. So thoughts in the chat. So yeah, no transfers, no chips. This is just how it's going to be for the full season.
I think we could maybe give ourselves a wild card halfway through the season at game week 19.
we'll let the community decide. I think
Yeah,
it's not for us to say. Not for
we
us.
could be first, second, and third in the overall league, and they'll be like, "No, you're not wildcarding."
Which is fair.
You
Which
can
I get
live
that.
with it. Um,
So we've got Barthez in goal. Okay, yeah. Well, Barthez in goal is not a popular pick, but doubling up with Ekiog at the back. Yeah, United are going to be there or thereabouts at the end of the season, so that's it's no bad thing at all. Southgate and Babayaro, Cepeda, Carboni, Ziga, Gravison, and Matty Holland, fan of the show. Ricard and Van Nistelrooy up front. I think it's all right. I think it's good.
yeah. So it's
Probably, yeah.
Totta, Rufus, Issa. Who's the? I can't. Is that Bird?
Burn? No idea. Do you know?
Watford defender. No, Watford
Uh,
midfielder.
striker.
Striker. He's gone for.
Let's check him out.
He's gone for the third Watford striker.
Dennis
He's
Burn.
obviously
Quick boy.
run out of
He's a
money.
regen.
Went
He's
for the cheap. He's a regen.
a
How
regen.
the fuck
Yeah.
has Whitebeard managed to spot that? So he's picked up the regen. It's basically the next. Oh, who was it?
Greg
Who was
Warren.
it? This is the next Greg Warren. There you go.
Fan of my heart. Oh, sorry. This is in the way for everyone here, isn't it? Hang on. Here's me clicking on his. Whoop. Just block your face for a sec. Where is he? There he is.
Dennis.
He's speedy.
Off the ball.
Mm.
19 agility. 18 stamina.
I reckon he's done us there. Like that. Although third on his bench, so maybe not. But yeah, no, I like that. I've got a few in there. I think Ziga's one that can just get injured from looking at a football. Gravison had a bit of a quiet year last year. Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's pretty strong.
Yeah, I think the double United defence that scares me a little bit, because there'll be weeks where he's picking up minimum 12 points from those two.
I'd say the only thing for me, and I can't remember yours actually, we'll come up with yours on the stack, is the strikers are so big in this game for scoring points.
Yeah, I would have probably.
I would have wanted the third striker, I think.
Yeah, gone less money, like by getting rid of one of the midfielders and just downgrading to a Nolan or Nolan, a Gareth Wally, something like that, just to have a nailed striker in there.
Yeah, if it means you can get up to a Tommy Smith or something.
Yeah.
Then yeah. Cool. That was all right. Thoughts in the chat? Any thoughts on it? Yeah, going with that. Third striker seems risky, says Rory.
He looks like he'll burn some defenders with that pace. Hot JJ.
Nice. Cool. It's like yours, Rob.
Pick when Smith moves on.
When?
This is my team. Yeah, so I've gone with the Coventry pair of keepers, because I wanted to spend the minimum amount of on the keepers, and they obviously, even the keepers from the worst teams, they might not pick up clean sheets, but they tend to pick up a lot of save points, and then if they keep a clean sheet, they generally get a lot of bonus points as well on top of that. So yeah, I'm gonna banking on Headman to come out with some big scores occasionally across the season. There will obviously be a lot of 1 and 2 pointers there as well.
You've gone quite light with your defence, I think. Do you not think?
I've gone with. So Hoopier, I think I had to. Obviously, Doherty's in there. I know that he's probably not going to play this week, but there will be the odd occasion where he might play up front. So I think he have to have him there and starting. I've gone with Holt. I thought I'd put in Rufus as my as a starting.
This is considered locked, I'm afraid. So,
so yeah, I've gone with Holt. From the simming, he was reasonably decent over the course of the season.
Is he 4 million?
I think we made him 4.5 or 5.
No, it's 4.5. Yeah,
4.5. So yeah, going for him. McAteer, attacking fullback, might occasionally move into midfield. as well.
Yeah,
So
I saw that. I saw that.
gone with him. Carboni, I think, is one of the best options for midfielders, especially. I think if you want Ruud. Well, I wanted Ruud. It's obviously a zombie team.
Hmm.
You've got to have the best player. So it kind of takes Veron out the equation. Yeah, Carboni, I think, is a great option. We know that. Yeah, he's going to pick up assists. He'll pick up a few goals. He's on set pieces as well for them for Chelsea. So yeah, I think he's a good option there. Lee Hendry was just a sort of a bargain pick at Villa. We've already said that they across this season there'll be times when they pick up big results, and
Yeah.
he's generally a part of a lot of it. Pedersen, I think having one of Janssen or Pedersen or Robbie Keane, I think, was a must.
Hmm.
And I felt that Pedersen, out of the three of them, because of Blackburn's formation changes, means Janssen isn't always nailed. Robbie Keane, because of Smith, Viduka, Larson, he's not necessarily always nailed. So Pedersen is probably the most nailed
Hmm.
out of them. So gone with him. And then up top, Ruud, my man Peter Crouch. I think I'm backing him to have a big season.
Yeah.
And then Tommy Smith, like we said, I think having a third playing striker, I thought was big thing. I think he's probably the best value. I think he's 7 mil or 7.5.
He's
I thought
seven.
I think he's
7.5. Sorry. Yeah,
yeah.
you're right.
I think decent value there. He'll pick up returns. We saw it last season. Picked up returns every now and again.
Yeah.
And then just the bench. I just went with fodder basically.
Hmm.
Wally, Nolan, Rufus accidentally instead of Holt.
It's
Um,
500,000 on your bench there. So because Wally's 5, isn't he?
I couldn't find anywhere where I wanted to spend that 0.5. I was
Fair enough.
having a look and I was just like, I don't want to upgrade Hoopier further up. I wanted to keep Doherty, so I couldn't really like improve much more. I wanted to keep McAteer, and then there was no like 5 million defenders I really wanted. And then the same with the midfield. Like, I had to look at other options instead of Hendry, and there wasn't really anyone. So yeah, I've got 0.5 sitting there doing nothing. If anyone wants an extra 0.5, then yeah,
I'll
um,
take it.
so yeah, send me some bribes, and we'll see what we can do.
Cool. Good stuff. Let's
Let's have a look at
move. I'll
your
move yours
team.
over. Move yours over here, and I will put mine there. So I've gone with Tottenham at the back. I think that over yeah, I think just from looking in the Sims, I think I just didn't fancy keeping one of the newly promoted club keepers. I like the price in the Tottenham double, the Tottenham couple, sorry. So yeah, I'm happy with those. I think they could do well. I mean, Tota's pretty terrible as a keeper in the game anyway, isn't he? But yeah, no, I'm happy with those two. And then yeah, backline, Honcho, Ekiog, Terry, bonus magnets, hopefully. And then Naismith, I really like them like I say, from an attacking perspective. He's an attacking wing back. So yeah, you've got McAteer, so I've gone the other side. So yeah, that's interesting. I'm glad we both picked someone there. I really wanted Carboni, but I went a bit cheaper in midfield. So I went Pedersen. Agree with you on all counts. Hoekstra, yeah, for the money,
Yeah.
yeah. But I've got Gary Teal in. I think he's really underperformed in the sim. I think he can do pretty well. And
I
yeah,
mean,
as long as they keep
you've had to kind of go with the sort of the budget in the midfield because of your front three.
exactly, and I've got no problem with that.
Yeah.
I've gone with
That
cards.
scares me, that front three.
Yeah, I had to have Ruud. Obviously, I had to run him for a long time to try and move the money around. But yeah, Ruud, captain, vice
I
captain
think if
Shearer. He can pick them. He can pick up the 1.5 each week. That's fine. Ricard.
because it's a zombie team, I think it's such a coin flip on Ruud and Varane that, and I think that because you're spending that sort of money, you have to go with the striker. Like rather than, I think if it wasn't a zombie team, then yeah, I'd happily go with Varane to start with because I know that I can move Ruud in at some point. But because it's a zombie, you kind of have to go with the person that scores the most points over the course of the season, which
Yeah,
we obviously all think that he will, because we've all gone with Ruud and we've all got the captaincy on him for the season. So
yeah, I think like you say, from the best player in the game, stats point of view, in the team that's won the championship back to back, top scorer in that team. Can't overthink it when you're thinking season long, right? But yeah, for those that are obviously looking at the first 5
haven't
fixtures,
United won it? So what we Sims 2001 to 2002. That was season one. 2002 to 2003 they won it. 99 2000 they won the league. 98 99 they won the league. So they've won it 4 years on the trot.
5,
Oh, more than that, 5 years on the trot.
7 in the last. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. We can talk about it.
we can we
Cool.
can we can enjoy being United fans
We
during this.
can.
This is why we wanted to do season 3, just so that we could enjoy being United fans again.
We can. Just had a request for Slakovic's stats. There you go. Yeah, he's a forward this year, so it's a bit of a change. We're going to need to wrap this up because we've got the sim to run. Yeah, I hope that was cool. We've got a couple of announcements as well. So obviously Thursday is going to be game week 1. So deadline is 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Yep.
7 o'clock. So we'll be going live on YouTube from 8 o'clock. In terms of hosts, so we mentioned before I think it was on the very first one, mentioned just we've gone with a bit of a change in direction. Obviously, we've got a smaller core team, and yeah, trying to, I guess, just trying to get anybody to, especially now, sort of commit to 38 game weeks of of the time that goes into it every week. It's just not reasonable. So we've done what we've done is we've basically built a bit of a pool of hosts and pundits, if you like, that we'll be drawing from each week. Obviously, just drawing them. Here you go, you're live. Actually, a bit of a schedule, so there'll be some fresh faces. But I guess where we've gone with it. So yeah, we'll announce that for game week 1, our host for game week 1 will be Craig and Martin from the Man on Pod. I think what they've done their knowledge of the game is crazy. The amount of work they've done with the Sims, obviously last year, the start of this year, obviously has been enormous. They put a lot of time into the game. They really know the ins and outs of it, and yeah, I think they can offer some real good insights over the course of a game week. We were doing a test with them. I was doing a test with them last week, and somebody got subbed off. He said, "Well, that was a right back, so surely that means their formation is going to change now." So just little things, little nuances that hopefully will add a bit of experience to that. So those are going to be our first 2. We'll announce some of the others as we switch around. But yeah, it might be that we have the same host for a couple of weeks and then we switch it around. We want to make it a good viewing experience, obviously. So yeah, cheer the guys on. Hope to see as many of you in there on Thursday as possible, because it is going to be the pretty much the sole place where you're going to get the game commentary now. You will still have the goal alerts actually on Twitter, so they'll be the only tweets really coming from the main account. So there won't be any sort of in between commentary or anything. That's what was taking some crazy time over the course of the last 2 seasons. So that's all been condensed, and that's all going to be on the stream in the form of basically live running commentary as you'd sort of see in the game. So it should be pretty exciting. Should work really well. You'll see a lot more of each individual game, notice things happening within the game, different set piece
not
tables.
limited to like 80 characters and
No,
one tweet a minute and stuff like that, which makes hopefully for a more filling experience.
exactly, definitely. So yeah, it should be really good. Looking forward to it. But yeah, I think that's everything on my list.
Yep. The only other thing is, some of you might remember, I think last season it just got a bit hectic at times. On a Wednesday, I'll start up a thread from the official account, like a Q&A thread. If there's any questions on the game, we obviously can't answer. Like if you've got a benching dilemma, we won't be answering that because we obviously know things, so we can't give you, say, captain this person over this person because it wouldn't be fair. But if you want any, like a screenshot of a player's stats or anything like that, then just stick that in the thread, and then I'll put it out like the thread in the morning, and then at some point in the evening, I'll jump on and just gradually work my way through any of them. Some weeks last year, I
Nice.
think we had quite a lot. Some weeks there wasn't so much. But yeah, so just keep an eye out for that thread. It's just to make sure that everyone has all the information that they want or need ahead of the game week.
Nice.
Plus, the leak from CM Scarface will be at some point tomorrow morning. So if
Let's
you
if we
haven't,
give it to him. He's
we might just keep it to ourselves.
yeah. I mean, he's been begging us for ages, hasn't he? And it's just a case of in
he
your
hasn't
box.
done
He's not really.
much. He hasn't
He's
done
done
much.
nothing really, has he?
Yeah. So yeah, we'll maybe at some point tomorrow morning. So if
Yeah,
you haven't followed CM Scarface, then yeah, definitely get following, because that is where your leaks are going to be coming from on a Monday.
definitely. And then yeah, last one for me. So we're up to 895 players. It'd be amazing to get it over. I mean, this last week, this last few days, tell everyone you know about us. Get them playing, get them involved. Anybody who's FPL is a big gap in between. It's a lot of cancellations, a lot of stuff going on. This is a safe space. This is a safe space. So
And Andy Martin said as well he's going to be looking to host the Twitter space from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. every Thursday. So almost like a deadline space where I imagine Andy will be there to give his expert advice.
like that.
But just don't listen to him if he says anything negative about Petkov, because that's just his bias. Although maybe listen to him this week, because Petkov ain't doing nothing.
That's true. Nice one.
Yeah, that'd be good. Good fun. I'd just drop.
Try and join that again.
Drop in just to have a listen and maybe troll some people.
Oh yeah. We can do that now. That's exciting.
Yeah, we can spend our week trolling people. Can't do anything else.
Yeah, we can talk about it, Ron. It's fine.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Rob, pleasure as always. Amazing work getting the game to where it is now. It's just down to you guys now. Best of luck for game week 1. Any last minute questions or anything, let us know. Otherwise, we will see you Thursday, 8 o'clock, right here for the beginning.
On that note, with the last minute questions, please don't fill our like the DMs of the official account with questions that you could tweet out, and because sometimes we can't give you the answers, so it's better to tweet them out, and we'll, as long as you tag the official account in the tweet. If we can't answer ourselves, we'll just give it a retweet, and that way someone else that can answer that question for you can help. Yeah, don't fill out our DMs with questions that we can't answer because we'll just simply not answer it, because it might be something that could end up giving you information for the game which might give you an unfair advantage over someone else. So yeah,
All good.
that was the serious.
That's a serious bit. Just leave
serious 20 seconds.
Amazing. Thanks everyone. Thanks Rob.
Cool.
And
Thanks.
yeah,
Let's go.
we'll
Game 1.
see you Thursday.